too, Joe, is sometimes you just got to play ball. You got to throw it where you see it's open. When you see it, you can't think, oh, it's a 4-3, the ball's not supposed to go there. Sometimes you play that position, you're pick number 2 overall, you're the franchise quarterback. Playmakers make plays. He had it right there. Just was trained to go somewhere else with it. You got to improvise in that situation. Find the open guy.
Copy. What's going on with Twitter?
Hustles the ball to Taylor Gabriel.
Tweet, tweet, tweet.
Matt Nagy, his home debut as Bears head coach, the 4-year-old,
All right.
third youngest head coach in the NFL. Sean McVay,
All right.
32,
Let me turn this down.
San Francisco's 38.
Watching the Monday night game. Yo, what is good, gamers? It is your boy Lincoln Clay coming back at you with another live stream podcast, whatever you want to call it. Let's all be one cohesive unit and hit the like button to help spread the content to a wider audience. And make sure you hit the bell icon so you can stay notified whenever I put out new content. I would appreciate that as well. And Adam Wilson, have I seen all those new memes? Yeah, I've seen a good amount of them. If you are a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. I hope you are enjoying the content. Welcome to the channel. So really, fact of the matter is I have been a little bit out of the loop. So tonight's podcast will be a little bit different. Adam Wilson, what's up? Simply Deep, what is up? Arian Drake, what is up? So tonight's podcast will be a little bit different where I welcome you guys to, tell me what you heard, what's the latest news, and, I'll let you know whether I heard about it or whether I haven't heard about it, and then give you my take on it. Lunkin, what is up? What's going on, brother? And so, oh my God, sitting here watching this Monday night game. I'm not understanding this. I'm able to watch this Monday night football game on my phone, but I can't seem to get it on the ESPN app on my PS4 or my Xbox. So I got my phone in front of me watching this Monday night game, multitasking. But I don't plan on being on very long because at 10 o'clock, 10:30 at the absolute latest, I will either be playing Spider-Man or Firewall, one or the other. And for the most part, that's kind of the reason why I've been out of the loop, why I haven't been, why I'm not, too aware of everything that's been going on. I've been hearing shit about the Tomb Raider being downgraded. JP Loco, what's up? Yeah, JP Loco. I mean, yeah, I haven't been on that much lately, and it was a combination of two things. It was one was I was just worn out from work, putting in these 10-hour shifts, working 6 days a week, it just wore me out. So a lot of times I would just come home, take a nap, and by the time I wake up, it was just be too late to do some kind of podcast or something. And so that's why JP Loco, for a while, I was doing, trying to kill two birds with one stone. When I was doing like those GT Sport VR streams, I was basically trying to get my gaming fix in, but still have sort of a podcast within that game stream, trying to combine the two because it just wasn't enough hours in the day to get all the shit done that I needed to get done. And so, like I said, I was tired from working so damn much. Firewall came out, that ate up a lot of my time because like the first 4 or 5 days I just could not put that game down. I'm in a relationship now, so I got to give her her time, that kind of stuff. So a lot of shit going on right now. It's just not enough hours in the day. And then as far as this week goes, I got to get a headlight replaced on my car. I got to go to the motherfucking friend of the court and drop a couple dollars on these motherfuckers, which I'm paying my shit like I'm supposed to. But, there was a transition. Thanks, Adam Wilson. There was a little bit of a transition where when I started my new job and, and child support was going through their little procedures to try to catch up to me on my new job. During that phase, they wasn't taking anything. So I'm responsible for that month that passed that they weren't taking anything. So I've been having to drop bits and pieces on them here and there to try to get that shit caught up because I didn't want to drop it all at once. So got to go to the friend of the court Wednesday. I got to try to get to the gym on Thursday, and then Friday is date night with my girlfriend. So if I didn't do this podcast tonight, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it, at least till Saturday. And I didn't want to go that long without doing a podcast. Spartan God, what is up? So Andrew Wilkins, what is up? And so, as far as the latest news goes, I guess, I'm a little bit aware of this Tomb Raider shit. I guess it was downgraded or whatever the case may be. And that might explain, why the developer tried to accuse The Last of Us of being some fake shit, because they couldn't pull something like that off. I'm a little bit aware of PUBG being downgraded. I guess, they downgraded a little bit, for the trade-off in performance. Spider-Man is still hot. Spider-Man is still hot news right now. And it probably should be because, Spartan God, I've been seeing that too. Zaire has done a couple of podcasts, about the Pro being sold out. And Adam Wilson, you see the cardboard people of Forza Horizon 4. I think that's one of the memes isn't that one of the memes you were talking about that I saw on Twitter? See, that's no surprise to me about the cardboard people, because that same shit is in Forza Motorsport 7. So I'm not terribly surprised about this cardboard people shit in Forza Horizon 4. Not to mention, y'all heard me talk about that before with Forza Horizon 4. Not Forza Horizon 4, Forza Motorsport 7. Y'all heard me talk about that shit before, where a car will pull into the pits and there is no pit crew changing tires or putting fuel in the car, but yet you hear impact guns and wrenches and all kinds of other shit as if the car is being, serviced in the pits. That was a shortcut right there. So that doesn't surprise me. I've talked about this before in GT Sport. When you pull into the pits, there is a pit crew waiting for you. There's like guys holding tires, guys holding impact guns, guys holding a fuel tank. And when you pull into the pits, they change your tires. You can choose what kind of compound you want to go with as far as the tire goes. You can choose how much fuel you want to put in the in your vehicle, because how long you spend in the pits is critical in that game. The pits are a critical part of GT Sport. The longer you stay in the pits, the further you're going to fall down in the placing. And so, so that's the attention to details that Sony, that's how they pay attention to detail. And that's how Microsoft takes shortcuts, So the paper cutouts in Forza Horizon 4 is no surprise to me whatsoever. JP Loco, you're not interested in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, was let down by Rise of the Tomb Raider. I have never, ever, ever played a Tomb Raider game, and it is too far into the series now for me to start, because it's one of those things where I wouldn't want to jump into a Tomb Raider game now and be totally out of the loop as far as the story goes, because honestly, when I knew that there was going to be an Uncharted 4 coming up, Gotta Games, what's up? When I knew that there was going to be a Uncharted 4 coming up, I actually went to GameStop and bought Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. And I finished 1, I finished 2, and I got about 60% done with 3, but didn't finish it. But I got far enough along from those 3 games that I was able to pick up when I got to Uncharted 4. I'm not trying to do that shit with Tomb Raider, because it seems like it's like 8,000 Tomb Raider games out. I'm not trying to start from the beginning so I can get caught up on this one that's been downgraded. So short story long, there you go. I'm JP Loco. I'm not interested in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Just not a big fan of it. I don't have anything against the game. I'm just, I'm just not about to start fucking with it right now. You know, it's basically, it seems to be some of that treasure hunting shit that you see on Uncharted. So with that being said, I'll get my fill of that stuff from Uncharted. So and then what's this shit I'm hearing about PUBG being downgraded, you know? So I guess that's so they can gain a couple of frames. I guess the graphics has been downgraded or some shit like that, so they can try to get a couple of frames back for performance. And the game already looked like shit anyway. Adam Wilson, you said Crap Gamer was hyping the Forza Horizon 4 demo. Of course, this dude, he gonna hype anything that comes out of Xbox, you know, Dolby Atmos or whatever the fuck that shit is. Who the fuck, you know, Dolby Atmos? Whose house? Who's gonna be able to come to your house and tell that you got Dolby Atmos? You know, you come to somebody's house. You go to somebody's house and they playing Super Lucky's Tale on the Xbox One X. Oh, are you playing Super Lucky's Tale in Dolby Atmos? I recognize it the minute I walk through your door. It sounds amazing. You get the fuck out of here. JB Loco, you said pub garbage been downgraded since its inception. The Spartan guy, you said if Forza Horizon 4 didn't have that 1080p 60 frame mode, they wouldn't care. You know, I could care about that 1080p 60 shit. I could give a fuck less about that. You know, if Forza the Forza Horizon series, that's just not for me anyway, because the shit's arcadey. You know, I like real shit. I like simulated shit. And that's why, even though I'm not, you know, even though I have a high disdain for Microsoft, even though I have a high dislike for them, Forza Motorsports 2 is one of the best racing games I've ever played. I mean, that shit was simulated like a motherfucker. And I think it was also, I think it also might have been the first racing game that I've ever played where you can customize your car in terms of paint jobs and decals and all kinds of other stuff. Craig Harris, what is up? Am I talking Mass Effect? No, I'm keeping up through trying to talk about the latest shit that I've heard coming from, you know, you, Ryan, Sick, you know, whoever else has been podcasting. That's kind of how I've been getting, you know, word of the latest news. But, you know, I'm only going to be on till about 10:30, Mr. Harris. But if you like, you can join me. So I don't plan on being on very long because it's like I said, you know, this new job that I have, there's a lot of shit to remember. And because of that, you know, sometimes I'm not exactly looking forward to going to work in the morning. So I have to make sure I get my gaming fix in before I go to bed. Okay, Mr. Harris, I will send you a link. 1 second. Copy. Let's go on over to Twitter and find the Messiah in his blue robe of truth. See if he want to call the B-52s. There you go, Mr. Harris. Okay, that works perfect. Craig, if you can hang out till 10 o'clock, because that's when I plan on shutting this down. Because I got it, like I said, I got to try to get some gaming time in before I go to bed. You know, and I may stream Firewall. I'm not gonna stream Spider-Man because I don't want to do any spoilers or that kind of stuff. But if I play Firewall, I'll stream it, even though I am aware of the chat, you know, not being functional. I'm clearly aware of that. But if I still decide to play Firewall, I'll still stream it. So we will go from there. And I await the arrival of one Mr. Craig Harris. And with his help, I will be filled in. and then we can go from there. Spartan God, Lincoln, did you know that Vera Tron is Siri from the iPhone? No, I didn't. But hey, that's cool for Vera because that's I'm glad to see that she's getting in podcasts. I know she's been in the PlayStation Plus podcast with us before. I've seen her in several Sick Humors podcasts. I think she might have been in one of Ryan's podcasts, and I believe she was in the Roundtable podcast with us before too. So that's cool. Princess, what is up? What is good? It's like Christmas on Halloween. Put you on the hood, but naked, burn your back. I love you, Princess. And y'all make sure when y'all check out Princess podcast, y'all give her a like. Otherwise, y'all know I will come back and smack flames out y'all ass. Don't fuck with me. Y'all better give her a damn like when y'all watching her shit. I heard the door open. I think that might be a Mr. Craig Harris.
Yes, the Messiah has arrived
and brought you a blue robe of truth.
The blue robe of truth is always here.
All right, that is what's up. Welcome to Wakanda, and please lock the door behind you.
Oh, yes.
All right, brother. So fill me in. What's been going on lately, man? I was telling the chat that I'm learning a new job, and this job requires my undivided attention, and because of that, I have not really been able to listen to a lot of YouTube at work. So I've only been hearing bits and pieces of some of the things that's been going on, like this Tomb Raider downgrade, the PUBG downgrade. Spider-Man is still a hot subject. The Xbox, they booties is still burning from that scorch mark Spider-Man left on them. So fill me in, brother.
Well, the Tomb Raider downgrade. Okay, the Tomb Raider downgrade is simple. Rise of the Tomb Raider on the Xbox X ran at native 2160p. Mm-hmm. It was native 4K, 30 frames. Even in the demanding scenes, the 30 hell, I think it dropped maybe down to 27, which the naked eye is not going to trace. You can't trace. You can trace something at about 7 frames, but that's 20/20 vision. I mean, palettes. That's the way a palette would see things. Like a fighter pilot, not somebody that works the Delta. But so there's a downgrade there. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider, again, this has nothing to do with the game itself. The game is still fun to play. Mm-hmm. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is not 4K native. It's not. They target it. There may be one scene where if there's nothing going on, that it may hit the 4K native mark, but it's dynamic. You're going to have scenes where there's screen tearing. Again, I've seen it. It's not stopped me from enjoying the game. It's dynamic 4K. Or as the Xbox used to say, fake 4K. You don't see them saying that no more. So there was a downgrade there. Now they added more textures. So the game looks cleaner. There's a cleaner look to it. Again, I'm enjoying the game. I think it's a fun game. I hate the puzzles. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. There's a website where there are 10 major puzzles in this game. I can't remember this gentleman's name, but he solved all of them. I was on there almost all day yesterday because I kept running into stupid puzzles, but you knew it was going to be like that because it's based on the Mayan culture. There are some inconsistencies. I don't know why the Mayans speak damn near perfect English. They're Mayan, for crying out loud. So they should be speaking their native language and then maybe put subtitles down there. So maybe if there's another Tomb Raider, Naughty Dog can make it. And that's what Naughty Dog would do. But the Tomb Raider game itself, I've enjoyed. I think it's a fun game. It's on a rail. It's not open world. You can't go A to B to C. You have to go A, B, C. You can't jump around. So, but besides that, it's got some side missions. It's got the tombs. And the tombs are actually extremely challenging, apparently. So I'm looking forward to doing those. I'm a platinum that game. It's a good game. But I've always liked Tomb Raider going back to 1998, or 88, 89, stuff like that.
Okay, something that I've noticed, Craig, that when it comes to PlayStation and Xbox with these games and stuff, whenever the Xbox think they find a flaw in a PlayStation game, they jump all over it and they get loud about it, and they won't shut up about it until something proves them wrong.
Yeah.
Because look how much noise they made about this Puddlegate shit with Spider-Man, and they did not shut up until Digital Foundry said something.
Yeah. That's their MO. That's the way it's been. It's the game's coming out. They want the game on their platform. They don't get it, so they start to downplay the game. Them saying there's stuff wrong with it, that's their way of downplaying the game. Look, again, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I missed a jump, because I missed a bunch of jumps. And I missed a jump, and Laura didn't fall. She just hovered in the air. And had I taken a picture of that, and my Xbox isn't linked up to any social media. It's not hooked up to Twitter. It's not hooked up to Instagram. It's not hooked up to Facebook. It's just I'm not sharing information on my Xbox like that. So what happened was if I had taken that picture, okay, or taken a video of it and put that on Twitter, it would have burnt Twitter down yesterday. Literally, just everybody would have went in on it. But the issue is that, well, when they're upset, they're going to look for the simplest, easiest looking flaw. And it may not be them. There's a lot of people in the PC community that are furious about Spider-Man. Make no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They are furious that they don't have that game on that, on that open platform.
What are they furious about?
A lot of them just did not understand how they didn't know that Sony owned that IP. They still think Marvel owns the IP. I did like 3 podcasts really trying to explain it to people. I went back and forth on Twitter, not being negative, but people who did not understand Sony owns the IP. They're like, well, Sony doesn't control Sony doesn't control this, and this with Spider-Man. I said, they own the IP. They can't publish a Spider-Man magazine or a comic book without it going to Sony first and Sony signing off on it, which they will. I mean, they're going to rubber stamp it. My God. I mean, it's Marvel, but they own Peter Parker. That's why Marvel has pushed the female version of Spider-Man, Silk. They pushed Spider-Gwen. They've pushed Miles Morales, because that's their way of telling Sony, look, if we don't get our character back, we're going to go make movies with these characters. That's why they're doing an animated movie. Yeah, they're doing it. It's got Miles Morales has his own animated Spider-Man, coming out. I'm gonna go see it as soon as tickets come available. I'm gonna go get tickets for it.
No kidding. But how long ago did Sony?
Go ahead.
How long ago did Sony first show us Spider-Man at E3 or whatever? How long ago was that?
I think the first time I saw it was 2016. It was either late 2015 or early or mid 2016 is when I remember first. I remember when they first announced it. That was like in 2015. Okay, but it just kind of went underreported. It's like, oh yeah, right. There's a Spider-Man game coming. Big deal.
So for the last 2 years, 3 years at the most, they have known that this game was a Sony exclusive. Why are some of the PC people tripping like they just now finding this out?
Well, no, they didn't know. They knew they knew Insomniac was making the game. They knew that it was being shown on a Sony PlayStation. They just thought the game would come to PC. One of the better statements that I've seen, and I can't remember, is when all that stuff, when people were lashing out at the Insomniac developers, it was when that one guy said something to the effect of, this is like to an Insomniac developer. They were like, or to their marketing team, they were like, you didn't understand his question. And this is a tweet. It was something like, you didn't understand his question you know, it's not a matter of when it's not coming to Xbox, but when is it coming to PC? And Insomniac put never. You know, they put never. Sony is publishing the game, and they are only publishing it to their platform. But that's the tweet when Insomniac tweeted that. That's the tweet that got the most heat, because that was the one that they just kind of shut the door. Now, yes, we knew that. We knew it because I remember in 2017 when Sean Layton walked off the stage at E3. He said, here's a look at an exclusive, a true exclusive that will be on the PlayStation 4. And then that's when we saw the Spider-Man thing. That's when that's the infamous one where people were like, oh, there's all these QTEs. It looks downgraded. That's the first time you started hearing about that. So, but it's anger, it's jealousy. They're moist. I mean, you can't really pay them any attention. They did it with Gran Turismo. They did it with Horizon Zero Dawn. They did it with Tomb Raider, not Tomb Raider, I'm sorry, Uncharted 4. Then they did it with Lost Legacy. I mean, there's a pattern setting up there. God of War, Detroit Become Human. It's set up a pattern. So game gets announced, they get mad it's not coming to the X, and then they downplay it. That's just what they're going to do. That's their MO. You know, not going to change.
Okay, so look, the X-Thoughts, their reaction towards Spider-Man is no surprise because they acted up when God of War came out, you know, and they acted up when Detroit Become Human came out. I think they acted up a little bit when Uncharted came out. Uncharted Lost Legacy. They acted up when Horizon Zero Dawn came out. So their reaction to Spider-Man was no surprise to me. But the PC people acting up about it, now that's a shock to me. Especially when I believe a lot of PC people make it clear that they have a PlayStation as well as a PC, because when it comes to consoles, they understand that the PlayStation has games that you can only get on the PlayStation.
Well, they also believe that.
So I'm a little surprised to hear about PC people erupting about Spider-Man.
Yeah, they were just as upset. Now, they didn't take it to where the Xbox community did, but ultimately, yeah, they feel that when all the money and time they're putting into their rigs, that they should be rewarded. I mean, it's a sense of entitlement. It's more generational than anything. It's just part of their culture at this point. They feel that, hey, look, like some guy said, shout out to Griffin Gaming, because he did a good video on it called Spidey Salt. He did 1 or 2 videos on it, and some people had tweeted out, oh, look, you know, I spent $2,000 on my rig. I deserve to play this game. And it's like, okay, well, sell a piece of your computer and go get a PS4. That's all you got to do. It's not that difficult.
Exactly.
You know, so, yeah, it's more envy. I'll never say somebody's jealous. I don't think they're jealous as much as they are envious. So, that's just my opinion. I just think they're envious of the games on the Xbox X, because it's more powerful. That told them that the games are going to look better on their console. And the fact is that the best looking game I've seen this entire generation is Horizon Zero Dawn, followed very closely by Detroit Become Human. Those are the 2 best looking games I've seen. Then, you know, you could throw in, and people like, we could get to Gears of War 4. And I'm like, Gears of War 4, it's nothing. It's dark all the time. There may be a few daylight scenes, but for the most part, I think when you're in that mech, it is daylight. But 90% of that game is at night. So I don't know how, whereas it Horizon Zero Dawn, you got a day-night cycle, you know, and, you know, when those robots light up at night, they really are lighting up, you know. So, but no, I mean, that's what's happened this generation. It's partly their fault because they told themselves that resolution was everything, and so the more powerful console, you would think based on computers, something more powerful would do better. But based on what I have just found out in the last 6 months about computers, that's not true. You can have more power, but if the other computer has better performance, it's going to play the games better. It's going to look better. that new Chinese console is got the Ryzen CPU, and it's got a weaker GPU than the Pro, based on its 4 T-flops. So based on that, the Pro is more powerful. But if you were to put every PlayStation game, all of them, on that console and run them, the games are going to look and run better on that PC because of the CPU. It's going to run circles around whatever CPU is in the Pro. And the same for the Xbox. It's going to run. And again, I didn't understand that. I'm like, well, how can this Vega GPU be, that Vega 64 or something like that, or 56 GPU, be whatever, 9.5 T-flops, 10.5 T-flops, but it's still being outperformed in a lot of aspects by a 1060. This and based on the spec is weaker. Well, the 1060 is more efficient. So that's just the way it is. So, and that's what the guy was saying. It was tested him. He's like, hey, look, the Vega was still doing good. It's not like it was a bad GPU for the price. I mean, you build AMD computers because of the price. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's why I'm building that. My computer's gonna be an AMD build. You know, I'm PO, can't afford the OR. So, you know, that's just, it is what it is. So, hey. But you know, with that said, that's the way this generation is kind of shaped up. So,
you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and stereotype. Looking back at it, you know, it really shouldn't be surprising that the better looking games are on the PlayStation Pro, even though it has less power. I'm telling you how it is, man. Those Japanese know how to build some shit, man. Because I mean, even with the cars, man, they can build some V6 cars that can outperform just about any V8 that we have over here in America. They just know how to build some efficient shit, man. That's all to it. I mean, so and telling it like it is, I don't have a PC. Therefore, all the best looking games that I have seen are on the PlayStation. I think Detroit Become Human is the best looking game I've ever seen. And it was a hard thought process, but maybe Spider-Man is the second best looking game I've ever seen, because that game looks amazing. But then again, so does God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn. The list goes on and on. Just so many great looking games that pay attention to detail. And I've said that before in previous podcasts, that I think Sony hold their developers to a certain standard of quality. Because you can go to any one of the PlayStation exclusives that's come out in the last couple of years, and you could just get caught in the daze just sitting there looking at any one of them.
Yeah, well, it's well, technically, somebody said that Japan is one of the most advanced countries and is the most advanced. No, it's not. It's not. Germany and the United States are way more advanced, or still more advanced than Japan. Now, let me tell you this. What Japan has done is all their stuff is LED, you know, and whereas we're still on this old ass grid, their grids are better than ours, but our grids are worse because you got a bunch of people who are going to lose their jobs. I mean, a friend of mine it works for a Spectrum Cable, and he's like, man, look, they can update the U.S. grid to 120 grid, you know, 120 hertz, like they could do it in 6 months, but because all the companies would work together. They would all take a region. Spectrum would do a region. Google would do a region. You know, Fios would do a region. You know, but that would put people out of work. As soon as you do that, you put close to 2.5 million people out of work. So the United States isn't going to do that. So, you know, so it is what it is. You got a bunch of people who still think they can get out of high school and go work at the factory like their daddy and the granddaddy. And that's true in some cases, okay? But for the most part, most people can't do that. What were you saying earlier, Lincoln? Shit, I lost my train of thought. God dog, I'm getting old.
No, I was, you know, that's what it was. I had said what I, you know, needed to say, that I'm not terribly surprised that the PlayStation Pro is the weaker console between that and the Xbox One X, but yet they have, you know, the better looking games. And I believe that
they have Vega Tech in that Pro. And I think that really floored people. They're like, well, they're lying. It's not true. It's like, look, there's a reason why these games look the way they do. It's because they have Vega-based architecture in their Pro. That's reality. I mean, that's Digital Foundry came out and said that like over a year ago. You know, that they got Vega in their Pro. A lot of people just didn't know about it. And who would have known? But that's why these games are looking like this. Now it's got a shitty CPU. Let's keep it a buck. It's got a shitty CPU.
No question about that. So with that being said, when the PS5 comes out, if they didn't do much graphically to these new, to the next generation, if they don't look much better graphically, I would be okay with that. If it performs well. I mean, because hell, who wouldn't want to play Spider-Man at 60 frames per second?
Yeah, and when you look at the density of Spider-Man, saw that noise outside. Some people trying to come and take the Messiah out. All right. Ultimately, if you look at a game like Horizon Zero Dawn, just look how open it is. Take a look at Spider-Man and look how dense it is. Yeah, swinging around the city, phenomenal. But go walk around on the ground for about 5 minutes and just look at the density. There's, if you go to New York, you'll see steam and smoke coming out of the, coming out of the sewer. You see that on Spider-Man. If you walk on the ground where it's close to a subway, your joystick will rumble just a little bit because that's what happens in New York. And if a subway goes underneath, when you're walking, you get a little bit of a rumble. So you kind of it's kind of like, damn, where'd that come from? And that's in the game. It's such a good game. It's just. I mean, it's one of the best looking games I've seen. It's in the top 5 that I've seen. And there's some really good looking games. Unraveled, that game that come out, to me, it was very underrated. People need to check that out. It's a great looking game. There's great looking games on the look. I'm playing Tomb Raider on the Xbox X because I beat Rise of the Tomb Raider on Xbox X. So I'm gonna beat it on Xbox X, and it's a great looking game too. I mean, it's Tomb Raider. That's all I can say. It's not Uncharted. People immediately attack it. Well, it's not as good as Uncharted. Yeah, you're right. It's not. It's not as good as Uncharted. But what game is? There's not a lot of games better than Uncharted. So and Tomb Raider, the series suffered for a while, went dormant, and Uncharted came in and filled that void. But
one second. Let me respond to. Hold on. Let me put my glasses here. I want to respond to Chili Hog. He said, I haven't checked out if the PS4 Pros have been sold out at Target, Best Buy, and GameStop here in Maryland, but I feel like it did because now my classmates are talking about Spider-Man PS4, which is surprising. I definitely want to touch on that in a little bit, Craig, about about the PS4s being sold out. But before I do. You talk about playing Tomb Raider on the Xbox One X. What is the situation with that Xbox One X? Is that something you're still looking to sell and get out of the Xbox ecosystem, or are you going to go ahead and stay put?
Well, now, once my PC's done, I'm out of it. Yeah, I mean, there's no, like Sick Humor said, if you have a decent PC, I mean, it doesn't have to be a beast PC. If you can put together a $650 PC, and then you get your games on Steam or Origin or Valve, whatever the hell that thing is called. There's like 50 different ones. You can run, like I can run Tomb Raider based on my PC build. I'll be able to run Tomb Raider at 60 frames per second at 1440p with high settings based on my PC. It's not like my PC is going to blow people out of the water. So that's where I want to be. That my PC puts me at 1440p because if I want to do 4K, I'll just wait and get a PS5. That's just reality. So I've got a good 4K TV, and it ain't a Sony 800E. That's what I'm going to try to get this fall. So I'm saving. But ultimately, it's not that it's a bad console. To me, it did exactly what I thought. I told people it was going to do a little bit more. you know, and you know, people come at me, you know, post up like, he don't know what he's talking about. Next Gen shaking his head. You know, Jay Fonz was talking about, 4K textures. I mean, again, shout out to all them dudes, but they were wrong. They were wrong. So ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not a bad console. If you also enjoy 4K movies, let me make that clear. If you want a good 4K movie player and something that plays games as well, that's the system to go by. And I'm not going to lie about that. I've watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind on my Samsung TV or my Samsung 8500D, and I've watched it on the Xbox X. And it's not a bad build for 4K. It doesn't look as good as a dedicated one, but still, it is what it is. You know, it's not bad.
Jaku, what is up? In my case, I would go buy a standalone 4K player, especially if it has HDR, because I do not see a 4K player within the Xbox One X is not enticing enough for me to drop to $500 for me to pick that console up. No compelling exclusives. And these days a 4K player is much cheaper than that console. And the third-party games that are available on that Xbox One X are also available on the PS4, and a lot of them with the naked eye are hard to distinguish. So I just cannot see the value in the Xbox One X. With that being said, when it does come time for you to sell your Xbox One X, are you prepared to take the hit? Because these things are sitting on the shelf.
I'm selling it to be for sale for. I'm gonna ask $350 for it. So, but if somebody came in and offered $3, I'd take $3. But ultimately, I got to try to get a little money back off of it. So, but it is what it is. I mean, like I said, I mean, it'll be the final thing that goes, though. I mean, once I talk to the Xbox ambassadors and I get the PC set up and get everything ready to go and make sure everything's going to play okay, then I'll be like, all right, you know what? Because there's nothing coming out this year on it that I'm gonna play Forza 4. You know, I'm gonna play that, and but that's it. There is nothing else left. You know, at that point. So, and but it's there. It's just the console is made for social gaming. There's actually people that use that as their social contact box, and that's what they use. They don't go out and talk to people. They get on Xbox and they play with their friends. And I got a default position on that. And I won't say it here because it's not my podcast. Everybody knows how I feel about you and your friends. So, but ultimately, it's just not the right box for me. So it's my secondary box, so there's no reason for me to down it or attack it or attack the people that like it. Buy what you like. It's your money. And if that's what's, giving you a chub, that Xbox, cool. Support Gaming said you'll buy it for $1. Well, nah, I got to sell it for more than $1.
Right. I've said it before, and I'm not really saying this to bang on Microsoft, but if it were not for my son, loving Gears of War so much, I would have gotten rid of my Xbox by now. But the only reason why I still have it is to play games with him.
Right.
And the only thing I really play with him is Gears of War 4. So in the past year, I probably say the majority of the games that I played were PlayStation exclusive. GT Sport, MLB The Show, Firewall. I mean, you seen my streams, I mean, the majority of my streams, Thomas Hands, what's up? The majority of my streams have been PlayStation exclusives. I mean, I said it before, PlayStation has made it a great time to be a gamer. I mean, I can't get enough of this PlayStation. It's like crack. It's like crack cocaine.
Well, I truly believe that when they drop a game like Spider-Man, and when I play Spider-Man, I'm smiling ear to ear it's like when I go to the movies to watch, went to go watch Ant-Man and Wasp, and the Black Panther, I was, Infinity War, I was smiling ear to ear. And it was just it's just a fun feeling. It really brought back like I can't remember who said it online, but it really brought back just playing the games. And it's the funnest game, one of the funnest games I've played. It's just a fun game. It reminds me of when I was playing on the playing Tecmo Bowl on the Nintendo years ago, back in the 80s. Tecmo Bowl was the premier football game.
Yeah,
and,
I remember those days.
Yeah, just sitting up there in my room, had the door open, was playing it, throwing the football around, trying to tackle Bo Jackson, stuff like that. But ultimately, yes, a game like Spider-Man does that for you. And that's what it did to me. I'm just kind of like, well, do you really want to argue with a bunch of people who are mad? I mean, at the end of the day, like OBJ the Don said, shout out to him, and them niggas are mad as hell. I mean, those are a quote from him, and that's the best quote I've heard. And that's just, it was a perfect quote. It was, I think he was going to head out and get Spider-Man. He's just like, man, look, it's stupid to talk to the Xbox community at this point because, them niggas is mad as hell. And that's, at the end of the day, that sums up what they are. They're mad. And that console isn't doing what they thought it would do. Talking about the fanboys, okay? Now, to me, it did a little bit more. And that's what I thought it would do. I thought it would do a little bit more. That's exactly what it's doing. And it is what it is. So,
real quick, Jaku, I have a huge backlog of both flat screen games and VR games. I've got more games than I know what to do with. But since we're going to wrap this up here in a few minutes, Craig, I want to talk about, I want to ask you what your take is on about the PS4 Pros being sold out everywhere. I mean, do you think this console is in demand right now, or do you think this is Sony kind of drying up supplies to appear that the thing is in demand, or is this a move by Sony to get ready to move us into the PS5? What do you think?
I think it's a little bit of the latter. A little bit of the former, I should say. I think Sony announced they were going to slow production down of the Pro. I want to say they announced that like in July, maybe, or June. It was something like that. And then all of a sudden, there is a demand for the Pro because, I mean, at least in the comic book community, if you go to those, they have channels too. And if you go to their channels, it's kind of like, well, what are you playing it on? And they all come back and say, well, you need to really play it on the PlayStation Pro. That's just the best way to play the game. It's not like it's bad on the regular PlayStation. It's not bad at all from what I've heard from people. So, but yeah, if you want that ultimate experience, like shout out to the amazing Lucas. I mean, he's a big Spider-Man fan, but and got his own channel. But he basically was saying, the best place to play this is on, not him. I'm sorry, people in the comment section, is to play that on the Pro. And yeah, that game is a system seller. I mean, it's just reality. That game is a system seller. So, and it is what it is. So I think it's a little bit of demand, and Sony did choke it a little bit. They choked it down.
The Spider-Man PS4 Pros, I'm not surprised that those were sold out, but hearing that the standard PS4 Pro, hearing that those are sold out, that is a little bit surprising.
Seriously, I mean, you can't find one for nothing. And I think the best way to put it is, I think a Pro, if you trade it in for in-store credit at GameStop, you get a bigger credit than you do for Xbox X. And Xbox X is the newer console. It's not a year old.
Which is a scam, which I've went through that before, because they're giving you a bigger discount. They're giving you more in-game, in-store credit towards the purchase of an Xbox One X to motivate you to buy that shit that they can't get rid of.
Yeah, and that's I agree. Yeah, that's partly Microsoft saying, you can do that because they will supplement the retailers. But there's a big, huge not even a backlog. I'm sorry, but for the X, I mean, there's warehouses full. I know several people that are truckers. X's, and they will tell you, yeah, the Xbox X is not in demand right now. Now Christmas time is coming; they're going to sell more. You know, because I want everybody not to.
You know what? The writing was on the wall because I've said this. I actually said that when GameStop offered that trade-in offer. I said it. I felt like it was a combination of them trying to get rid of these Xbox One X's that's been sitting on the shelves for God knows how long. And I figured that because of Spider-Man, that the PS4 Pro was the demand for the console was on the rise, and they know that those PS4 Pros were probably gold mines right now, and they were probably snatching them up, trying to snatch them up so they could turn around and resell them for a profit, all the while unloading all that dead weight that they got sitting on the shelves in the form of Xbox One X's.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that's pretty straight to the point. I don't disagree. It's selling. That game is selling, and not only that, there people who bought that Pro. I mean, again, they're going to beat Spider-Man on it probably once or twice, and they'll take them back. But ultimately, there's other games on the PlayStation because people are like, well, you should try this game while you have it. Try playing Lost Legacy. Try playing Horizon Zero Dawn. A Gran Turismo if you like to drive around. And they're steadily coming into the ecosystem. So people are right. What Sony's been able to do this generation has been it's been like the PS2. What you're seeing is the way the for anybody who did not have a PS2. This is what it was like when you had a PS2. Every time you turned around, there was another banger coming out. I mean, Dragon Quest 11 is rated higher than Spider-Man. I finally got my hands on Ni no Kuni 2. I have no idea what a Ni no Kuni is, so I'm gonna find out. So, but ultimately, I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play, after I beat Tomb Raider, I'll jump back on Spider-Man. So, there's just a ton of shit to do. So,
one last question I want to ask because I know you got to get ready to go here in a second. I'll be ready to go in a few minutes myself. Mm-hmm. Do you? I've seen the memes and I've been hearing about these paper cutouts for characters on Forza Horizon 4. Do you expect a big uproar to be caused by that? Do you expect that to get noisy, people talking about that a lot, or because I don't think the PlayStation community is going to make that big a deal of it because they're still caught up playing Spider-Man and stuff. But do you think the Xbox community is going to try to sweep that under the rug, and act like they don't see it?
I think so. I think what shout out to Sick Humor. I think that somebody made a GIF, whatever that thing is called, over what he did, which the fact people can do, I have no idea how to do that, like none. So the fact people can just take that and do stuff like that, I think that's fantastic. But that was just kind of a warning shot across the bow. Shut up and play your games, because it's not like there's not stuff wrong with them. But if we're getting to a point, and I was getting there too, if we're getting to a point where all we're going to do is look for flaws, is you're not enjoying your hobby. And that's what was starting to happen, at least with me. And I was when I did my podcast yesterday, I'm like, look, I'm going to ask everybody here to do, because they're not going to do it because, niggas are going to do what they want, but, right. But ultimately I said, look, if you see a stupid, and Porter Rock said it earlier in the day, and I just kind of, I seconded it. If you see somebody making a stupid comment, just don't comment anymore. I mean, shout out to Corey Massey. He has terrorized Max Gaming's comment section to the point where they are afraid for him to come in there. Because he's in there telling the truth and he's knocking down all this BS. It's not that what Max is saying. It's what they're literally, the information that he's giving them, it's like they hear it and they twist it. It's like, damn, are you this stupid? But ultimately, you all don't have to engage them. Do you really think the whole Aaron Greenberg thing, when he put in 6/4, if you don't understand, he did that to distract you from the disastrous downgrade of PUBG. And as the game's been downgraded, more people spent time trying to go after Aaron Greenberg, and then the whole thing with PUBG went right over people's heads. But that's what Aaron Greenberg was going to do. I've got to make a distraction for what, and that's exactly what he did. You had people retweeting him. Hey, how about the PlayStation sales? How about blah blah this and that? He's never going to respond. What you should have been looking at is the downgrade of PUBG, but he wanted to take everybody's eyes off that just so they could get away with it. You know, so that, and that's what he did effectively. Aaron Greenberg's job is to do exactly what he did: be a punching bag for the Xbox. All he had to do was put 6 over 4. They probably had a big laugh at it.
And for him to say something like that, or say some X gonna give it to you or some shit like that, the first thing that would pop in my head is, wait a minute, how you saying some shit like that when PUBG's downgraded?
Well, yeah, I agree. I agree. So that was you, Adam Wilson. Okay, yeah, shout out to Adam Wilson for doing that gift thing. They should put that back up there, man. That should go up every day. I mean, that should just be a warning, like a countdown of 4s of 4 or whatever. But ultimately, that's where we were getting to a point where they were. They're not enjoying. They can say what they want. Let them blow as much smoke up your ass as they want. They are not happy with that Xbox. They'll say they are, but they're not. That's why they're constantly attacking the Pro, is because they have to have something to justify. Like I saw somebody tweet out, apparently somebody in the Xbox community is saying that Forza 4 is an RPG with a car. I mean, seriously. It's an RPG with a car.
Oh boy, that's rich.
Because they don't have, but when you think about it, what RPGs do they have? None. What RPG does Xbox have?
Oh my God. But
I mean, I can't think of one. It's somebody, I mean, it's not Halo, because Halo, you don't upgrade Master Chief. You know, it's not like he starts out at level 3 and then you go to level 40 with him, you know. So it's just, seriously, when people are like, what WTF? I'm like, yeah, somebody tweeted out that Forza is an RPG game because it's a car that gets upgraded. So,
you know, it seemed to me like I even heard a couple of times some people trying to compare Forza Horizon to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you kidding me?
But Lincoln, you just said Spider-Man is doing what? Selling consoles. Spider-Man gives you a reason to own a PlayStation, whether it's the Pro or the PS4, right? Right. Forza to them is the equivalent, because they're like, well, Forza is our version of Spider-Man because it's the reason why we want a Xbox. So that's what they're really trying to say. Now they're doing a shitty job of comparison. They should be comparing apples to apples, oranges to oranges. They compare apples to oranges. So but they really, even Jabba the Hutt said the wow moments, the moments of, did you see that? Have you seen what this looks like? Those moments haven't happened on the Xbox this generation at all.
No,
it's happening over and over again on the PlayStation, like over and over. Wow! Oh, I got to take a picture of this. The Spider-Man pictures, I mean, you know, are phenomenal. I mean, the people, I don't know how much time they're taking to make those shots, but that shit, you know, they may be able to do it in a minute, but it takes me, 3 to 5 minutes when I do a screen. If you see a Spider-Man shot for me, it's taking me 5 to 7 minutes to try to find the right lighting, to try to put him where I need to. These people are actually taking pictures of him fighting, which means you have to turn on the photo. You have to turn on the camera when you're fighting, then fight, then hope you get a good shot, then hope that shot. And these people are able to get it. Just phenomenal. And you don't see that on Xbox. They took some pictures with Tomb Raider, but it's like, well, it's Tomb Raider. I said the other one is 4K native. that immediately cuts them to the bone. Hey, this is not 4K. You know, oh, well, it's this. It's not 4K, and you bitches ran your mouth about 4K native. So they created their own prison that they're in. You know, but and so it's funny. Yeah, PUBG, to me, PUBG being downgraded is the ultimate getting smacked in the face. I mean, it's all over the place. Hashtag downgrade. I'm gonna have to do a podcast Wednesday to try to figure out the fuckery that's going on with PUBG, because I don't know what's going on with it. Why is it they released it as a full game like September 2nd, or it was something like that, September 3rd. It was at the beginning of the month or it was something like that. Why within 20 days it gets downgraded? It gets taken down.
You know,
what the hell's going on?
The fact of the matter is, you know, I think the downgrade, tell you the truth, to me, my original thought process would be, hey, it's just another black eye for Xbox because it's just not a good situation over there. But because the Xbox or X-Thoughts made a big issue out of this puddle shit with Spider-Man, now only to have this PUBG shit blow up in their face, I find it comical.
Yeah, I agree. Now, the company Damage Control that everybody's talking about is Spider-Man. That's actually owned by Tony Stark.
Yeah, who was that? Was that Adam Wilson that made that? Where he said he found Xbox headquarters. I can't remember who did that on Twitter.
Put that in there like, damn,
oh my goodness!
In here, you know, so.
Oh my goodness! I could not quit laughing when I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, but Tony in the comic books, Tony Stark owns Damage Control, so their Easter egg is that Iron Man is in this world. Tony Stark is in this world. If you go to Doctor Strange's Sanctum, you know, if you take a picture, Peter Parker will say something like, you know what? That's a cool looking window. Everybody knows now that window is the symbol for the time stone, or time gem, whatever you want to call it. And he says, there's something strange about that building. I mean, really, really strange. That's the way he says it. So that's just their way of letting you know Doctor Strange is alive and he's in their world. So, but yeah, the Damage Control thing, yeah, that was hilarious. I mean, those buildings are all over the damn place. So, you know, but yeah, but fun. It's going to be fun. And, you know, even this fall. So what's the next big game coming out that they can compare? Red Dead Redemption. All right. Red Dead is already running 4K native on the Pro. If you get a chub for 4K, they've already said the output is 2160p. Digital Foundry said that. Now that could change, but right now it's 4K. That's all we know. So
you know, because there's no more heavy hitting exclusives coming out for the PlayStation this year. Call of Duty or Red Dead Redemption could be the victory that the Xbox are looking for, because with no Spider-Man or something like that to throw up against Red Dead Redemption or Call of Duty, they might get the hollering that they're, you know, that the Xbox is the best version of those games. So yeah, get ready for another one. So there's gonna be some more shit erupting because they just don't quit.
Yeah, and understand that there's more. Excuse me. There's a lot more things on the PlayStation. If you're a Red Dead fan, you buy it on the PlayStation. That's if you're a fan. I mean, if you just want to play it, you can play it anywhere. But ultimately, you're going to have more content on PlayStation.
Right.
So, and you get it first. You get weapons. You get clothing. But again, I'm not going to tear Red Dead down. I didn't care for Red Dead 1. I thought it was okay, but I prefer Grand Theft Auto to Red Dead. But there's nothing wrong with Red Dead. And maybe I'll like this one more, but that'd be a game that I get next year. I mean, you know, that'd be not the Black Friday sale, but if you want to wait for a better sale than that, wait till that New Year's sale, that New Year's Day sale when everybody's hung the hell over and you can walk into Best Buy and get a game for $29.99. You know, Red Dead will be there. It'll be one of those games. So, you know, it will be. Just trust me. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, With that being said, I'll be ready to go ahead and wrap this up because I got to get my gaming fix in before I go to bed, because I feel like if I don't play something before I go to bed empty.
Yeah, I feel you. All right.
So with that being said, you want to go ahead and give everybody give them an outro.
Yeah, man, it's the Messiah. Just come join me over at Craig Harris's channel. I'll probably be podcasting Wednesday early. Try to get some people on. Try to schedule some people. I'm an effort to get Randall Thor to talk about this PUBG, but I don't know if he already. I think he may do that thing with Jez Gordon on Wednesday, but I'm gonna try to get him or another. Somebody's got to explain to me why PUBG got downgraded. So. And then I'm not looking for a fanboy answer. I'm trying to really understand why the hell this game's not working right. So, but it is what it is. But yeah, come join me up over there. And I appreciate you having me on, Lincoln Clay. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Pure Perfection, what is up? So with that being said, before I give my outro, I want to give a shout out to Craig Harris, Ryan the Professional, Sick Humor, Royal Flush Gaming, Porter Rock 77. These are all people that have put out content within the last 24 hours or so, and that gave me stuff to listen to while I was at work to help the day go faster. And that that definitely helps my day go faster, and I definitely appreciate it. Shout out to all you guys. I really appreciate it. With that being said, for those who want to join me, once I'm done with this podcast, I'll be jumping over the firewall. I am aware of the comments being disabled, but no less, I will still go ahead and stream the game anyway for those of you who want to join me. And with that being said, I want to thank Craig Harris for coming on. I really appreciate it because it added a lot of life to this podcast, because I really didn't have too many subjects to talk about, as well as the chat for helping keeping this going too. I really appreciate that. So with that being said, those of you who happen to catch the replay of this podcast, give it a like. And as I always say, give it a like, lock the door on your way out, and for my guest, Craig Harris, we are out of here.
Yep.
Catch y'all later.
Mm-hmm.